Good afternoon. I'm Vicki Wessling with City Speaks, and today we're here at the City of Dunkirk History Museum, and we have with us Mayor Rosas. We have our director of the museum, Jane Babinsky. We have our curator, Ellen. We have our
building manager,
Mr. Meister. We have Jim Hurtgen, our director of the Historical Society, or president of the Historical Society. So at the museum, we have a lot of things that have been happening here, and I want to turn it over to the mayor for just a minute to tell me what the city has done, what kinds of things are going on with the museum, Mayor, and what have we done?
Well, we've been working. When I came into office, I came in and took a tour of the museum, and right away noticed that the city needed to pay attention and do a little more to help out. So we took care of the roof. That was one of the first things that we did. And we started to do other things to help them out, including windows and painting, and the electrical is something that we wanted to help them out with. They still had fuse boxes here, and we wanted to upgrade. So I believe that we've completed that now. And we just want to have a good working relationship with the folks here at the museum. And I want to turn it over to Jan so that she can talk a little bit more about the museum.
Thank you, Mayor. And we appreciate what the city does for us. There's a lot of work to be done here, but I know we can accomplish it. And of course, the Historical Society was founded in 1973 and did not have their own building. It was in 1980, they finally moved in here, that the city actually helped the society to get this building. So we're very, very grateful for that. It's a challenge because this building is unique. It's got Greek architecture, which from the outside lends itself well for a museum. But because it was built for a Christian Science church, it makes it a little bit more challenging to figure out how to do our exhibits and displays. Speaking of displays, we actually have a new cabinet that we are doing our Civil War exhibit in. And it's not done, it's still under construction, but we would like to offer a sneak peek to you. And Ellen and Bill are going to take you over and let you see that new exhibit.
Okay, let's go. Let's go see what we have here. And now, we were kind of looking at part of the exhibit for a little while, and there's some really interesting things that are going on with that. So, first of all, when we talk about the Civil War, and this question had come up, so tell me a little bit, Bill. We talk about the Civil War, and you said, well, the Civil War, really, you wonder why it was named civil because of all of the discourse and what happened. Explain to me why they named it the Civil War.
Yes, it just so happens, Ellen and I just the other night were saying, Civil War, why did they call this the Civil War? Certainly wasn't very civil. But after some investigation, we found out that it was a war of the citizens, a war between people within one country, and it was a war of the citizens, and they ended up calling it the Civil War, although not very civil.
Right, as opposed to the word that we would think of today. So walk us through some of this. Tell us a little bit about what it is.
This is the in-progress side, and these are the local people and the information that we have about them so far. We're continuing to research, and hopefully in a week or two we'll have this finished. This is a carton of hardtack, which the soldiers used to eat when they ran out of fresh food. It's called hardtack because it's like a brick, and no one has wanted to try it, so you're welcome to try.
That's okay, I'll pass.
Okay.
Now, So now, if someone wanted to know if their ancestor was in the Civil War from this area, we have this up here that talks about the people from the Dunkirk area who actually fought in the Civil War, and we're listed in here.
We had over 1,000 people that entered from here. So that's partial list, and we have a longer list, which we probably will add here.
Okay. All right, so tell us a little bit more about what's going on with some of these things. This is the flag.
That's a Civil War battle flag that was carried by a group composed of New York State and people, volunteers from Dunkirk, New York, and those are the different battles that flag actually participated in.
You know, and we look at the saddle that's here. Now, I've ridden a horse a couple of times, but I want to tell you, that one looks a little uncomfortable. Tell me a little bit about this saddle.
Ellen, why don't you?
Well, this saddle is, it was designed by General George McClellan while he was observing in the Crimean War. He must have had a little time on his hands and came up with the style, and this was donated by a local person, Robert Sullivan. So we tried to polish it up a little bit, but it is very old, and you know, hopefully it's going to last a while.
Okay. All right. What else do we have to see here?
Well, we can go over here. This is a uniform of a cavalry member. The cape. He was given a brigadier general promotion at the end of the war. He was in 4 Confederate prisons in 9 months. So this hat, which was typical of a dress hat, called a chapeau, influenced by the French, and this hat, which was his helmet, decorated with horsehair. And it's yellow because the cavalry used the color yellow. Pictures of him up here, of course. When he got out of the war, he was the congressional appointment given to him to become Consul General of Calcutta, India. So, okay. All right, that's this beautiful sword also. And the feather on the hat here is an ostrich feather. If we walk over here quickly, I can talk about a couple of costumes or outfits that were typical. This dress would have been worn during this time. Of course, it was Victorian era. And something I read recently said that under this would be 5 layers of undergarments.
5 layers?
5. Sounds awful.
A few more than we wear today.
And that is a nightgown from a wedding night. We have the story on this with a hat worn at night, and it was a local person. So, and of course, you know, this is all Victorian.
Right. And now, Jim, there's a history with this window. Why don't you tell us about the window?
Well, this is a window that came out of a home on Eagle Street. The home itself was built in 1879, so the window dates from that period. And the home went through various owners, including Andrew Dodderwick, as I believe. In 2014, we became aware that the window was available in bad shape, and if we wanted it, we could have it. We said absolutely. We took possession in 2015 and shipped it to a gentleman in Pennsylvania for disassembling, complete, and reletting, and some minimal glass replacement. So what you see is the window virtually unchanged from its origins. The gentleman in question passed away, unfortunately, and then before he could complete the job, we sent it to an outfit in Cleveland. They completed it, including the frame that surrounds the window, and we took possession in 2017. It's a beautiful example of leaded glass, painstakingly reassembled. So it's really quite a wonderful addition to the museum.
And the intricacy of all the way that they put it together is just really amazing. Yes. You wouldn't find that today for sure.
Well, not for that kind of money.
No.
You could find it perhaps, but it would be considerably more expensive because it's a painstaking, slow process. And frankly, there aren't a lot of people with the skills to do that.
Right. And the Doderick family is from this area. We actually did a
Yes.
celebration of them last year, I believe it was.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, last May, just a year ago.
right, so that's great. So now, when we talk about the Civil War and all the different things that we have here, Jane, what other kinds of things are going on in the museum? What other kinds of things should we be looking at? What other kinds of things have happened or are happening?
Okay, just on a side note, I don't know if you're aware of some of the history, but the armory, where all the gentlemen signed up and trained for the Civil War, is where City Hall is located. So you're on a historic spot. Well, we have a large collection of items from the various fire departments in Dunkirk. We have a few things from the police department that are not on display right now. We will be looking ahead next year, we're going to be doing a special display on all of the churches that are here as well as all the ones that are gone. So that's something to look forward to.
And we have something that's really big that's going to be happening in 2021.
Yes.
2021. Tell me about that.
That is our Dunkirk to Dunkirk celebration. And actually, Mayor Rosas, I think he can tell us a little bit about
Our Dunkirk to Dunkirk
our
days?
Dunkirk to, yes.
Well, just recently, we reconnected our relationship with Dunkirk, France, and the mayor of Dunkirk, France, has actually invited me to go out to France, and I'm planning to go out there for the celebration that they're having. It's an anniversary, the 80th anniversary. But, you know, it feels good to be reconnected again with them. They have been very grateful. I was just recently out in Washington, D.C. I was invited to be out there and received a medal from the mayor. I actually received it from the ambassador of France who was there, and the mayor's deputy was out there to meet with me on behalf of the mayor. So I was honored to be there. We actually presented the mayor with a key to the city of Dunkirk, New York, and we have rekindled the relationship. Just recently, I received another email inviting me for another event that they have. Unfortunately, I cannot make that one, but the relationship is now, you know, flowing again.
Oh, that's wonderful. I am hoping then that maybe their mayor will come over when we celebrate our Dunkirk to Dunkirk days. We do want to do it big in the city here. I'm sure we'll have a large parade and maybe some concerts. We want to show the Dunkirk film again. So if other people have ideas of what they would like, Vicki is the chairman of the committee. So we have some planning to do, but we want to make it a very, very special time because it's important.
Absolutely.
Okay, what else now? I know that there's some other things that are going on in the
Well,
museum.
there's something I would like to take you upstairs. I want you to see a work in progress.
Okay, well, let's go. We can do that.
Okay.
All right.
Follow us.
Okay. Where everything is happening, and we have Wayne Morey with us. So, Wayne, I'm going to let you explain what some of this is, what you're doing, and all the kinds of things that are going on.
Okay, it looks a little crazy around here, but there's a reason for it. About 3 years ago, our roof started leaking, and we had to clear everything out of here. And the city was kind enough to give us a storage space down in Robin Street, and little by little, we're bringing that all back. And, you know, after we cleaned the room out and got the roof fixed, we looked around and said, this is a beautiful space. It shouldn't be just a dumping ground for stuff. So I would say by midsummer, end of summer, we'll be in good shape. And we hope to develop this into a research area for our patrons so that they could come and do family research, genealogical research, history of the city, and the county. And I do have a list of things. I don't want to forget anything, but this is the type of things we will have up here for research purposes. We will have school yearbooks and commencement programs and playbills from the 1920s and 30s. We will have Chautauqua County histories, church histories. We have quite a few 19th century newspapers, including Civil War era newspapers. We have documents concerning light and heavy Dunkirk industries, especially Brooks Locomotive and Elko. Cemetery records, city, township, and county maps. We're now online, and we will have access to Ancestry.com, various newspaper archives on the web, including the New York State Archive in Albany. And we have scrapbooks. Do we ever? We have about 130 scrapbooks. Scrapbooks were a way of life back before television. People sat in the living room, listened to the radio, and clipped. This scrapbook I just pulled off the shelf at random, World War II. And I did find a page that dealt with how the war impacted upon the residents of Dunkirk, for example. Coffee rationing will be effective November 28th. So if you're a coffee drinker, you would have to just be very careful. And of course, then we have the ration coupons. Now, I'm old enough. I was a baby at the end of World War II, and I actually have my ration book with my name on it, even though I was like 6 months old. So, but you'd go buy your tires or your sugar or your meat, and then you'd have to rip off a ticket. This is particularly interesting. We don't know where it came from, but I did a little research last night, and the Cruiser family was living in Brockton in the 1840s and 50s. And eventually they moved into Dunkirk about the 1890s or so. And Mr. Cruiser was our fire chief in the 1920s, so one of the descendants. And Samuel here, who was born in 1815, is buried in the Fredonia Cemetery. So we have about 10 to 15 family Bibles.
Okay, thank you, Wayne. And of
I'm not
course,
quite
okay.
This is my big thing now. I call this urban archaeology. People drop things in. Sometimes they're left at the door. Sometimes they carry them in. And they have found these things under the floorboards, in the walls, in the attic. And I believe, just like anything in a museum that has Roman artifacts or Egyptian artifacts, these tell a story of Dunkirk. And all we have to do is find out. For example, here is a certificate that I had translated. It's a Polish certificate, and it's a certificate for a singing society here in Dunkirk. And if you were a member, you got a certificate. And the date is 1909. So that was in somebody's wall. The foreign language newspapers tell us the ethnic mix of Dunkirk. This newspaper is from Luxembourg. Even though they do have their own language, I don't think they print too much in it because there's a Chrysler ad in French out of the same newspaper and an Oldsmobile ad for in German, eine mechanische Spitzenleistung, a mechanical, fine-tuned precision thing. This is interesting, a postcard. There was a mass murderer, a woman who killed I don't know how many people out in Kansas. And then the house got burned down somehow. And here's a postcard of the ruins of that house.
And that was found in a house here in Dunkirk.
Oh, yes, in one of our houses here in Dunkirk. So, but this is what we have to offer.
Yes,
And please come back in maybe 3 months, and you'll see it top notch.
yes, one of the things, of course, that Wayne is doing is cataloging all these items, and we also have to have them in archivally safe boxes. Everything has to be cataloged, we have to organize. This is an example of the boxes that all of the archives will be going in, but it will be easy also for people to come and do research because each box will be one specific category.
Yeah, this is Brooks. I'm doing a paper on Brooks Hospital and the influenza epidemic of 1918. So I just grabbed the Brooks file, and eventually it'll end up in this box up here.
100 years from now, they'll be doing it on the measles epidemic, right?
Do we have any cases
Yeah,
here?
no, I hope not. Well, this is wonderful. And yes, Wayne, we will be back where Jane has extended the invitation, and we have graciously accepted that we will be featuring the History Museum on a monthly basis with the different exhibits that we have. So we definitely be back, so get to work.
I will.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And Jane, we have some other things that are going on. You want to tell us about the...
Actually, I'm going to turn this over to our president, Jim Hurtgen,
Oh, okay.
so he can talk about some of the other things that we have going on with the building and fundraising.
Okay.
Well, we, as the mayor said, we're in the midst of a full electrical upgrade, not completed yet, but well underway. The mayor alluded to, and others to, the roof. Without a sound roof, you don't have a sound building. We have a roof now that is going to protect this building for a very long time. We are seeking funding for masonry work that's needed on the exterior of the building, and window work as well, painting and some reglazing. We have some beautiful palladium windows, 6 of them that flank the south and the north side of the building. These need a good deal of attention. And some of that work is underway, and more of it will be undertaken as funds and time allow. One thing I'd like to mention is our golf outing. That's
Absolutely.
coming up. The Museum Society will be sponsoring a golf outing. We call it our inaugural 9-hole classic golf outing. It will be May 25th at the Hillside.
Hillview Golf Course.
Yeah, Hillview Golf Course, renamed now, I think, on Berry Road in Fredonia. It will start with a continental breakfast at 9:15 and then a shotgun start at 10. We will be supplying folks with wooden shaft clubs so that they can test their capability with old-timey clubs. We're encouraging folks to show up with, frankly, the ugliest duds that they can find in their closets, knickers, bad plaid, that sort of thing, hats that don't fit. We will supply the food, and we'll ask for $40 for folks to participate, or $35 if they're members. We're also looking for businesses to sponsor the event. We're asking that they sponsor a hole for $100 a hole, cheap, I would say, and we will be contacting more of our wonderful businesses to
So
get
what
their
will the
support.
format be for this tournament? Will it be a scramble?
I think it's called a shotgun. I don't golf. I don't scramble, but I'm going to lend my efforts. I'm going to participate as everyone's sort of humorous, incompetent sidekick.
Okay.
Yeah. Any more questions I can't answer?
It's going to be a two-person scramble.
Two-person scramble.
A two-person scramble, and that
Yeah.
means that the two people, they both drive the ball, and whoever has
Got it.
take
Got it.
turns, you get the best score.
Yeah.
Winner
There
rules
will be a good
apply,
deal of lying, I suspect, that goes on in this tournament.
especially if you're on my team, Jim.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
so you're going to join us.
Well, I don't know. I may.
Oh, that doesn't sound like a firm commitment. Oh, we'll work on
I'm kind of
that.
concerned by what you mentioned, your skill level.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. All right, yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be May 25th, and this is going to be up on our Dunkirk Access website
Wonderful,
too, for
thank
people
you.
who could
Great. Yeah, that'll be
understand.
great.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else, Jane, that we need to talk about here at the museum? Anything that you want to highlight that you think that would be important to talk about now, or do you want to wait and save that for next month?
I think we'll save it for next month, but would like to have an open invitation for everyone to come to the museum. There is no admission charge. We are open Mondays and Fridays, 1 to 4. And on Wednesdays, we are open 3 to 6. We also will be open by appointment. So if you can't make it during those hours, you can call and set something up. We'll be more than glad to give you a special tour.
Okay, and we're going to be doing something new at the museum also. We're going to be doing a kind of a questioning game for children or whomever, say, did you know what this is? And they can send in their responses, and we'll just see what happens. There may be prizes.
Yes, that sounds like fun. The other thing that I am going to add, we're going to have a therapy dog here for children to come in. Our first one is going to be June 21st, which happens to be National Take Your Dog to Work Day. So we'll have a couple therapy dogs here, and we want the children to come in and read some history books to the dogs, and we'll provide the books.
Well, that is wonderful. That's great. Well, we'll make sure that we're there for that. Mayor, is there anything that you want to add before we close up today? Anything that you have that we need to talk about other than what we have so far?
No, I just want to encourage people to come out and enjoy the museum. I think the folks are doing a really good job. All things considered, I think this is going to be better. We're going to support it a lot more, and we hope that our residents and visitors come in to enjoy the museum.
Okay, well, thank you. And then as we leave, let's take some shots of some of the things that are on the desk here. As I go down, there's some really neat hats and things. And thank you for watching City Speaks. Please watch us Monday through, 7 days a week, 3 and 10, on Spectrum Access 1301. Like us on Facebook. Tweet us. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you like. Send any questions, comments to vwessling@cityofdunkirk.com or to the History Museum. Jay Babinsky.
It would be contact@dunkirkhistoricalmuseum.org.
There you go. So thank you. Thank you for watching City Speaks.